Arirang Prime.
Siberian tigers, special guests from Russia. The tigers, which are in danger of extinction, head off to a special place. A busy place that protects precious lives. A place that sends a message of hope to nature. The zoo of the 21st century. Striking changes have been made to help humans and animals live in harmony. Let's visit the zoo that dreams of becoming Noah's Ark of the 21st century. Seoul Grand Park in Gwacheon is a theme park featuring a zoo and amusement facilities. On May 4th, a crowd of journalists were gathered at the zoo. They were there to see the Malay bear Goma, whose new enclosure was to be introduced that day. Everyone's eyes were on this 8-year-old male Goma. Weighing just 40 kilograms, he is considered small for a bear. Goma made headlines last December when he escaped from the zoo, instantly putting everyone on alert. The incident made him a star overnight.
서울 대공원을 탈출한 꼬마곰의 행방이 이틀째 묘연합니다. 혹시라도 사고를 내지는 않을까 사람도 걱정되고 곰도 걱정되는 상황입니다.
수색 헬기가 바쁘게 하늘을 휘젓고 훈련된 사냥개들도 부지런히 산등성이를 넘나듭니다.
Last December, while his caretaker was cleaning his enclosure, Goma unlocked the gate with his front paws and escaped. He roamed in nearby mountains for 9 days before he was finally captured and returned to the zoo. Goma's escape disconcerted his caretaker the most. But she's now happy that Goma has a renovated home.
포획하고 나서 특별한 질병은 없고요. 이제 포획 과정에서 약간 발톱이 부러진 거 외에는 특별한 질병은 없었어요. 아무래도 이제 저도 제 집이 생긴 것처럼 즐겁거든요. 사실은 이제 예상치 못했던 거기 때문에 꼬마에게 좋은 집이 생겼다는 게 저에게도 기쁨이에요.
Goma's enclosure has undergone major renovation. It's more spacious, and the steel bars have been removed. The floor is covered with grass and soil. His new house is even equipped with a playground to make it as nature-friendly as possible. It bears much resemblance to the mountains, where Goma roamed for 9 days.
환경이 안 좋아서 왠지 탈출하지 않았을까 하는 생각이 들어요. 이렇게 말레이곰이 다시 돌아오게 돼서 너무 반갑고요. 예전에 있던 집보다 더 넓고 이렇게 친환경적이어서 좋았던 것 같아요.
꼬마야, 사육사 형들 말 잘 듣고 모로면 잘 커서 시민한테 많은 즐거움을 줬으면 좋겠다. 잘 자라라.
The change was welcomed by Goma and zoo visitors who were also worried about his escape. However, This is only one of the many changes that have been taking place all over the zoo. A zoo that looks more like nature itself. Seoul Zoo is changing to ensure the happiness of the animals. Korean zoos have a history of 103 years. The first zoo in Korea opened at Changgyeong Palace in Seoul on November 1st, 1909. Later, it was relocated to Gwacheon, and in May 1984, it opened as Seoul Zoo, featuring a zoo and an amusement park. Currently, it's home to 2,800 animals of 311 species.
사실 과거의 동물원은 동물을 가두는 데다만 지나치게 신경을 썼습니다. 그러다 보니까 동물의 복지나 동물이 살아가는 것 이런 곳에는 상당히 부족했던 부분이 많이 있습니다. 이제는 동물의 아름다운 생활, 그다음에 관객들의 볼거리, 그리고 환경에 중점을 둬서 지금 동물원을 운영하고 있습니다.
It's been a while since zoos shed their image as places with steel bars and cement floor. Now, they're known as an entertainment venue for everyone.
되게 귀여워요.
Zoos nowadays pursue coexistence between humans and animals, rather than a place where people come merely to look at animals. They have begun their evolution into eco-zoos. Such changes can be noted in the enclosure of the Barbary sheep, which is known for its excellent rock climbing skills. Seoul Zoo has installed artificial rocks to make their living environments similar to their natural habitat. The rocks were installed as a part of the zoo's facility enrichment project. By climbing the rocks, the sheep can trim their constantly growing hooves. Before, the overgrown hooves had to be cut with a knife, which caused much stress to the animals.
예전에는 그냥 이 돌산 없이 땅에서 그냥 이렇게 다니고 그러니까 발톱 같은 것도 크고 이게 달아야 되는데 이 발톱도 안 달고 이래가지고 만들게 되었습니다. 만들어 놓으니까 아주 서식지와 동일하고 아주 활동성도 아주 좋고 새끼도 아주 잘 낳고 아주 좋은 것 같습니다.
Seoul Zoo has been carrying out the Eco Zoo Creation Project since 2003. The overall image of the zoo has been changing under this project. The zoo implemented the food enrichment program for the giraffe enclosure by hanging up food high enough for the giraffe to eat in a standing position, as it would in the wild. Before, the giraffes had to spread their legs wide in order to pick up food from the ground, which was a source of great stress for them.
야생에서 먹이를 구하는 것처럼 먹는 거잖아요. 그러다 보니까 이제 본 체질에 맞는 거죠. 원래 한꺼번에 먹는 먹이를 한꺼번에 먹는 애들이 아니라 조금씩 천천히. 원래 야생에서 14시간에서 16시간을 먹잖아요, 먹이를. 그런 거 이제 맞춰주는 거죠.
Since the giraffes regained their natural habits, their amount of exercise has increased. This is also more educational for visitors as they can learn firsthand how the giraffe lives and behaves in the wilderness.
내가 저렇게 던지면
그렇게 던지면 어떻게 되는데?
기분이 먹고 재밌어요.
뭐 동물들도 많고 그냥 가까이 볼 수도 있고 체험할 수도 있고 만져볼 수도 있고 그런 것 같습니다.
동물들을 위한 그런 구조물이 전혀 없었는데 지금은 굉장히 자연에 가깝게 하려고 노력하시는 게 되게 많이 보여요. 그래서 동물들이 정말 위에도 올라갔다가 내려갔다 이런 것들도 굉장히 많이 하는 게 보이고 자유롭게 더 많이 이렇게 움직이는 게 보여서 그런 게 더 좋은 것 같아요.
The facility and food enrichment programs prompt animals to be more active. This naturally connects to the behavior enrichment program of the Eco Zoo project.
흥미를 유발시켜줘가지고 자꾸 움직일 수 있게 뼈를 달아가지고서 우리 사자들의 행동을 유발시키는 거죠.
The goal of the program is to maintain the mental and physical health of the animals by exposing them to an appropriate amount of stress they would normally receive in the wilderness. The program also offers visitors a chance to interact with the animals. When visitors pedal this bike, a device with food and a ball attached to it starts moving. It motivates the lions to catch their food with their natural hunting instinct. In the Oriental stork enclosure, there's a device that releases fish one by one as it spins. Instead of having the caretaker feed the birds all at once, the food is released slowly each time the visitors play a game. The Oriental stork is a natural monument and a first-degree endangered species. The birds brought good news in 2007 when they reproduced for the first time in the history of Korean zoos. Seoul Zoo is getting closer to nature. It presents animals with natural living conditions and the visitors with the opportunity to interact with animals.
우선 오전에 저희가 이렇게 먹이를 넣어주면은 관람객들이 이걸 돌림으로써 이제 미꾸라지가 방출되죠. 그래서 이제 관람객도 좋을 수가 있고 이제 황새들도 먹이를 먹으러 이쪽으로 올 겁니다.
이렇게 돌리는 거잖아요. 돌리는 게 너무 즐거운 거예요. 그래서 이게 뭔지 모르고 일단 계속 돌려보세요. 그러다 한참 돌리다가 옆에 있는 패널을 보면서 아 이게 그런 의미였구나 이렇게 알아가시고 그러시죠. 그래서 아 그렇구나. 그래서 돌리는 재미, 그다음에 미꾸라지가 나왔을 때의 재미, 그리고 이제 마지막으로 그걸 황새가 먹었을 때의 재미 이렇게 훨씬 더 많은 재미를 느끼게 하면서 배워가시는 거죠. 야생에 대해서.
이게 참여할 수 있다는 게 그냥 단순하게 그냥 구경만 하고 가는 거하고 애들한테는 또 엄청난 차이가 될 수 있으니까.
아이들이 와서 같이 이렇게 먹이 주면서 동물들하고 친하게 지낼 수 있으니까 그런 쪽은 더 많아졌으면 좋겠습니다.
These diverse ideas that have transformed Seoul Zoo were conceived by the Animal Enrichment Club.
신나게 물레방아를 돌려서 황새에게 먹이를 주자.
Seoul Zoo is home to 7 clubs. They comprise veterinarians, animal caretakers, and the planning and PR staff, who all contribute their ideas.
동물의 가치를 얻어가실 수 있는 이제 그런 환경을 만들기 위해서 그런 시설 하나하나를 만들더라도 좀 더 깊이 고민하고 철학적으로도 생각을 해보고 이제 많은 자료를 저희가 찾고 저희의 경쟁자는 그 야생이라고 생각을 하고 그런 마음가짐으로 좀 더 일을 해보려고 하고 있어요.
Based on the ideas suggested by the clubs, the zoo comes up with new equipment. Today, a breeding enclosure is installed for the rare Rufous hornbill.
번식 상자가 너무 무거워가지고 이렇게 옮기려고 하니까 뭐 끈에다 달아서 해야 되고 첩보 활동 같은 거.
Rufous hornbills are on the verge of extinction because they are hunted for their plumage. The club members hope that this cozy enclosure will help the birds reproduce.
동물들한테 조금이라도 더 야생에서 살던 그런 환경도 맞춰주고 그럼으로 인해서 안 되던 번식도 할 수 있게끔 환경 조성도 해주고 그런 동아리 연구 모임이거든요. 이거 굵은 거.
A breeding box suited to the bird's natural behavior and a surveillance camera are installed. To minimize the bird's stress, the installation must be finished as quickly as possible.
딱 맞아, 딱 맞아.
동물원에서 동물 번식된다는 게 굉장히 좀 드문 일일 수도 있고 굉장히 중요한 일이거든요. 동물원에서는. 그래서 어느 동물이든 간에 저희가 기획을 해가지고 이런 실행 단계에 있어갖고는 어려움들이 많습니다. 그리고 이 새 같은 경우는 신속하게 작업을 완료해야 되거든요. 그래서 새에게 가장 스트레스를 안 주는 시점에서 작업을 빨리 마쳐야 되니까 이제 쉬면서 할 수가 없는 거죠. 그래서 땀도 좀 나고 힘도 좀 들지만 어쨌든 마치고 나면 보람은 많습니다. 네.
Even when the facility is installed, the club continues its activities.
사람 많다.
The club members must continue to check and maintain the facilities.
침팬지 여기요. 침팬지 쪽에 가는데요. 저 안에 저 타워도 저희가 최근에 설치했던 건데 타워 말고 밑에 상호 교감 프로그램이 하나 있거든요. 그게 제대로 가동되고 있는지 확인하러 갑니다.
It is through consistent management that the clubs create the ideal conditions for the animals. The ape section is home to gorillas, chimpanzees, and orangutans. It has a jungle tower that's 24 meters tall, the favorite height of chimpanzees. It's the tallest tower of its kind in the world and also the result of the zoo's facility enrichment program. Visitors can learn how to say hi to the chimpanzees in their language. When visitors greet the chimpanzees in the animal's language, the food is released.
잘 인식을 못하고 나오네. 네, 먹이 이렇게 나오면 나오는 애들이 나왔어.
맞아. 맞는 거. 먹구나.
야, 내가 준 거야.
새끼도 있다 저기.
아, 귀여워.
약간 재밌는 것 같아요. 인사를 해볼 수 있다니까.
관람객은 이걸 통해서 침팬지의 독특한 인사법을 배울 수가 있고요. 사육사는 동물은 먹이를 한꺼번에 주는 것이 아니라 나눠서 줄 수 있고 또 먹이를 이렇게 꺼내서 먹는 머리를 쓰게 함으로 해서 또 풍부화 효과를 보는 거죠.
Interaction enrichment facilities have been installed in 5 areas of the zoo, and there are already plans to introduce more in the future. Such efforts of Seoul Zoo are driven by its goal to become an eco-friendly, scientific zoo.
앞으로의 동물원이라는 것은 정말 과학적인 논리, 근거에 의해 가지고 동물도 행복하고 고객도 즐거운 동물원. 그러다 보니 IT 논리를 갖다가 접목을 시켜 가지고 과학적인 논리로서 상호 교감을 나눌 수 있는 그런 동물원으로 탈바꿈해 나갈 것입니다.
Seoul Zoo's efforts have reaped significant results so far. Since the launch of the Eco-Zoo Creation Project, the animals' birth rates have been on a steady rise. Last year alone, 59 species, including 12 rare species, gave birth to 303 youngsters. This good news was brought by animals that had regained their natural habits in an environment that closely resembles their natural habitats. Seoul Zoo's achievements can be largely ascribed to the work of its research team. In 1995, the team launched a Species Preservation Center, which studies and takes care of endangered species. The coyote enclosure is equipped with a surveillance camera that works around the clock. One coyote looks restless. A few days ago, it showed signs of pregnancy. When coyotes become pregnant, they dig their burrows wider. The researchers decide to conduct a pregnancy test.
주사 어떤 느낌인가?
주사. 뭐 음부애들 너 여기서 이쪽에서 다리채 당기고 있어.
오비하는 거.
야, 저쪽 포르테가 낮에 나오는 애들이 아니잖아.
뿔이 들어요.
지금 우리가 쟤네들한테 지금 굉장히 이제 스트레스 주고 있는 거 빨리 하고 빨리 잡고.
First, they catch the animal and tranquilize it. Then they extract blood as fast as possible.
자, 얘는 내가 보니 새끼는 안 들은 것 같은데 일단 지금 혈액 검사로 혈액 검사에서 계속 조금만 쥐고 있다가 한 3분 정도 쥐고 있다가 나오면 돼요. 네. 오케이?
Sometimes animals behave as if they were pregnant when they are not. That's why pregnancy tests are necessary. It takes just a few drops of blood to check if an animal is pregnant or not.
자, 그러면 우리가 지금 이제 이러한 검사를 하지 않고 굴을 파놨으니까 당연히 임신됐을 거라고 생각해서 그 굴에다가 카메라를 세팅해두면은 쓸데없는 일을 하는 거죠. 그러니까 그러한 일들을 줄여주는 게 이 키트예요.
When test kits are not used, researchers catch the animal and put it to sleep. Then they check its belly with their hands or conduct an ultrasound exam. But such methods are stressful for the animals and can result in a miscarriage. Animal population is also an important factor that determines a zoo's competitiveness. That's why this zoo strives to promote natural reproduction of its animals. Sometimes it even re-exports animals overseas. Increasing the population of indigenous species of Korea, such as the lynx and the leopard cat, is also an important task of the research team.
아종 확인을 위한 그 유전자 검사 그리고 그 호르몬 분석을 통한 그 번식 생리, 동물 종에 따른 번식 생리를 밝혀내는 그런 일을 하고 있습니다.
There are diverse ways to promote animal reproduction. One of them uses hormones to help animals mate several times. Another method uses surrogate animals of the same species. This is the Himalayan tahr, classified as near threatened. Today, a surgery is performed on a black goat to check if the female Himalayan tahrs are ready to reproduce. The researchers plan to insert sperm into the womb of a female Himalayan tahr. But first, it's crucial to find tahrs that are able to reproduce. The researchers use black goats because there are not enough male tahrs at the zoo. It's an economically effective method. This surgery is performed to change the direction of the goat's genitalia so that it doesn't impregnate the Himalayan tahrs.
자, 그래서 한 번, 두 번, 세 번 줄 거야? 네. 됐어요. 생각보다 좀 오래 걸렸어요 지금. 이런 수술을 통해서 만들어진 그 흑염소 수컷 티저 용도로 쓰는 그런 동물의 경우에는 가슴팍에다가 그 이제 색깔이 있는 크레용을 이제 장착을 해요.
After the surgery, the goat is taken to its enclosure. Then the researchers monitor the teaser's behavior around female goats.
발정을 탐지하는 그런 역할을 해주는 티저. 저게 저렇게 보이는 행동이 플래밍이라고 그래가지고 이제 대부분의 우제목 동물에서 성적으로 흥분하거나 기분이 좋을 때 보이는 그런 행동들. 윗입술을 이제 말아 올려가지고 잇몸을 보이면서
If the goat passes the test, it'll be relocated to the Himalayan Tahrs enclosure. The goat finds a female Himalayan Tahrs that is ready to reproduce and attempts mating. A crayon is attached to the goat's chest to leave marks during mating. The marks help the researchers identify potential female Tahrs for artificial insemination. Thanks to this method, 4 Himalayan Tahrs were born in 2009. It was the world's first successful artificial insemination in Himalayan Tahrs. In-vitro fertilization and cell cloning are also used to increase wild animal population. Seoul Zoo stores the eggs and sperms of various animal species in a freezer. Recently, the researchers at the zoo have been trying direct insemination. It's performed by inserting sperms into eggs one by one. The method has a higher success rate than scattering sperms over the eggs.
일단 그 시험용으로 그 돼지 난자 이용해가지고 그 각 동물별로 해가지고 지금 이제 하고 있는 게 이제 우제목 동물하고 그 고양이과 동물인데 고양이과 동물들 같은 경우에는 그 정자 사이즈가 작거든요. 그 사이즈 맞춰가지고 인젝션 핍해서 만들어야 되기 때문에 시험적으로 좀 해보고 있는 거예요.
Mr. Yong wants to experiment with the lynx, which is considered extinct in Korea. If the method proves successful, it could pave the way for the restoration and preservation of indigenous species of Korea.
이 기술은 야생동물에 적용된 사례가 거의 없어요. 그래서 지금 그 기술을 개발해서 산자 생산하는 데까지 이미 그 돼지의 그 난세포질 내 정자 직접 주입법을 통해서 산자를 만들어 봤기 때문에 뭐 기술적으로는 큰 문제가 없을 거라 생각을 합니다.
Thanks to the arduous efforts of Seoul Zoo, many extinct animal species could appear in Korea again in the near future. International exchanges are crucial to make that happen because each country has a limited animal population, which raises the probability of inbreeding in the long term. In 2007, Seoul Zoo held extensive exchanges with Thai zoos, which rival some of the top zoos in the world. The researchers of Seoul Zoo are also paying close attention to the zoos in Thailand.
처음에 이제 태국에 가가지고 시스템을 어떻게 이제 바꾸고 그리고 이제 어떻게 쭉 개선을 해왔는지 그리고 어떻게 이제 그 동물원은 굉장히 이제 액티브하게 운영을 하고 있는지 얘기를 많이 들었고 저도 이제 참고할 만한 내용들이 굉장히 많았고요.
In what ways are the Thai zoos in the forefront of zoological parks? An hour drive away from the Thai capital city of Bangkok is Chonburi Province, which is home to Khao Keo Open Zoo. It's the only open zoo in Thailand. Visitors here can see animals up close thanks to low or zero barriers.
ลองป้อนเลยยื่นป้อนเลยครับนี่อย่างนี้เลยไม่ต้องกลัวครับไม่ต้องกลัวครับนี่
ครับก็สนุกดีครับก็มีสัตว์ที่ว่าปล่อยไว้ตามธรรมชาตินะครับให้เด็กป้อนอาหารอะไรได้
The Khao Keo Zoo occupies an 8 million square meter area that includes a national wild bird protection zone. It's also an ecological zoo with a natural jungle. Visitors can touch and feed the animals directly. To children, it's an unforgettable experience. The zoo is home to more than 8,000 animals of 300 species, including endangered and rare species. The zoo's motto is to be as close to nature as possible. It offers visitors 24 tour routes through which they can experience nature.
สวนสัตว์เปิดเขาเขียวเนี่ยลักษณะที่สำคัญที่สุดครับโดดเด่นที่สุดคือความเป็นสวนสัตว์เปิดหรือความเป็นโอเพนซูนะครับคือการปล่อยให้สัตว์อยู่ธรรมชาติแล้วก็ให้นักท่องเที่ยวและประชาชนเนี่ยสามารถเดินเข้ามาสัมผัสสัตว์ได้อย่างใกล้ชิดนะครับในส่วนแสดงต่างๆซึ่งเป็นส่วนแสดงที่มีขนาดใหญ่และก็มุ่งเน้นสัตว์ที่มีความหลากหลายครับมีหลายส่วนแสดงที่เราปล่อยให้สัตว์อยู่ตามธรรมชาติและอยู่รวมหลายชนิดหรือหลายสายพันธุ์นะครับนั่นคือความโดดเด่นจุดเด่นของคำว่าสวนสัตว์เปิดเขาเขียวหรือเขาเขียวโอเพนซู
The zoo has a hospital for wild animals. It studies various endangered animal species. The hospital's research on the clouded leopard has received international acclaim. In the Thai language, the clouded leopard is called Thai tiger.
Grow so much, and they are dangerous to keep at home. So this is not an animal to keep at home. This is an animal to keep in the wild. See?
It's a rare species whose global population stands at just 10,000. This place is the first in the world to be dedicated to protecting clouded leopards. Just a decade ago, there was no center that protected this species. However, Thanks to over 10 years of research by Kyo Zoo's Research Center, 51 cubs were born. This place collaborates with other countries to preserve clouded leopards. Last year, it sent 8 cubs abroad.
We are going to see our animal that we have to do surgery.
The staff members suddenly become busy because the condition of one of the leopards has deteriorated since his canine tooth broke a few days ago.
วันนี้นะคะเราจะมาทำเคสเสือลายเมฆค่ะพอดีว่าเสือลายเมฆเนี่ยฟันหักเราเลยต้องวางยาแล้วก็พาไปอุดฟันที่โรงพยาบาลสัตว์
The staff decides to perform an operation. They try to put the leopard to sleep as quietly as possible to minimize stress on the animal. The effective anesthesia lasts 1 hour. The operation must be completed quickly within an hour. The animal's mouth has become inflamed because of a broken tooth. If left untreated, the leopard's life could be in jeopardy. The Clouded Leopard Consortium is the world's only facility of its kind. It boasts top-notch professionals and is supported by the Zoological Park Organization of Thailand.
จะต้องมีหมอช่วยดูสัตว์ที่สลบอยู่
The consortium exchanges the results of its research with other countries that are interested in the clouded leopard.
อันนี้เรียบร้อยแล้วหรือยังครับเสร็จแล้วครับดีไหมเลยครับดีหรือเปล่าครับดีเลยครับ
Thailand is home to a myriad of zoos, but only 5 of them are managed by the government. They are supported by the Zoological Park Organization of Thailand, which is directly sponsored by the Thai monarch. Thanks to the generous support, Thai zoos now boast international recognition.
We have some financial support from the government, for example, for renovation or construction of the animal enclosure here. But for the maintenance cost, we spend by our permission fee, admission fee. Yeah. So the government mainly support on the renovation and building of the animal enclosure. Yeah.
Thailand's species preservation research has received global acclaim in various fields. Its elephant research, which goes back to the 1540s, has produced impressive results in elephant in-vitro fertilization. 11 years ago, it became Asia's first to see a baby elephant through successful in-vitro fertilization. The Zoological Park Organization of Thailand dispatches highly trained professionals to Thai zoos to support their research efforts. In 2009, the efforts of the government and the zoos of Thailand achieved yet another feat when a giant panda from China gave birth. The birth rate of giant pandas is known to be extremely low. The birth of the baby panda was welcomed by the Thai public.
รู้สึกว่ายังไงบ้างเนี่ยค่ะก็รู้สึกไม่ได้รู้สึกคือเขาเกิดที่นี่ดูเขามาแต่เล็กไม่ได้รู้สึกว่าเขาเป็นหมีเลยรู้สึกเหมือนเราดูเด็กๆ
The Thai government and the Chiang Mai Zoo exerted special effort to help the giant panda reproduce. Now, more than 30 professionals are tending to the 3 panda family. The team includes vets, facility managers, and eco-managers who ensure that the animals receive comprehensive care. Giant panda artificial insemination is a very tricky task. Few countries have succeeded so far. Thailand became the 3rd country in the record, excluding China. This footage shows the birth of the baby panda in 2009. Many professionals in Thailand joined their efforts for the event. Thanks to their hard work, Thailand raised their zoos to world standards and generated tourism revenues of $3.9 million.
ครับในเรื่องของการช่วยเหลือนะครับทางด้านองค์การนะครับก็ช่วยเหลือในเรื่องของค่าใช้จ่ายนะครับแล้วก็รัฐบาลก็จะช่วยเรื่องของงบประมาณในเรื่องของการก่อสร้างนะครับเรื่องของอาหารสัตว์นะครับแล้วเรื่องของค่าใช้จ่ายบุคลากรนะครับขึ้นมาที่สวนสัตว์เชียงใหม่ของเรานะครับปีหนึ่งก็ประมาณ100 กว่าล้านนะครับ
Recently, an online panda TV channel was developed to allow real-time observation of pandas. When the panda first came to Thailand from China, its stay was set for 10 years. With the birth of the baby panda, the animal's stay was extended by a few more years. It was a meaningful feat achieved by Thailand's animal management program and species preservation technologies. On May 21st, a pair of tigers arrived in Korea from Russia. The Russian government sent a pair of Siberian tigers to Korea to mark the 20th anniversary of bilateral diplomatic ties. The tigers were transported to Seoul Zoo, where they began their lives in Korea.
상태고요. 이전 우선 저다가 내실에서 그 상태를 점검한 다음에 바깥 내어방사장으로다가 쌍을 맞춰주기 위해서 준비한 과정으로 만들어야죠.
Siberian tigers are extinct in South Korea, but several tigers are assumed to be still alive in Mount Paektu in North Korea. This endangered species was able to come to Seoul Zoo thanks to collaboration between the park, the Seoul Metropolitan Government, and the Ministry of Environment. The tiger's arrival was welcomed in Korea because it heralded the beginning of the species preservation.
호랑이 문중에 경사가 났는데요. 이제 동성동물하고 결혼 안 하고 좀 더 종이 다양하게 이렇게 해서 많이 퍼질 수 있으니까 호랑이 자체에 대해서도 굉장히 큰 경사라고 생각을 합니다.
In the near future, Seoul Zoo will release to the wild the Asiatic black bears it has successfully bred at the zoo.
계단을 타고 아래로 내려가는 경우가 있는데요. 그때 제품이 밀려내서 뒤에서 떨어진 것은 아닐까. 하지만 안타깝게도 지류한 생활은 억울하지 못한 먹이는 사과와 닭고기고요.
It will not be the first release of Asiatic black bears to the wild. A pair of Asiatic black bears that were brought from Pyongyang in 1999 gave birth to their cubs and were returned to the wild in summer 2010. Seoul Zoo launched research on Asiatic black bears in 2000. So far, it has secured the genes of this indigenous species and has helped the bears reproduce steadily.
색깔이 원래 이렇게 다양하게 나오나요? 저는 오늘따라 좀 다양하게 보이네요.
좀 요즘에 근데 먹이 종류 좀 많이 쓰고 있거든요. 먹는 대로 거의 다 나오잖아요.
혹시 색깔 들어가는 먹이도 있나요? 당근이나?
당근, 사과, 고구마.
그러면 약간 그게 나오죠.
Researchers at Seoul Zoo check the bears' health by analyzing their feces. Such basic management of animals has helped the researchers build their expertise in increasing the species population. Their priority is to preserve the genes of indigenous Asiatic black bears of Korea.
동물원에 있는 그 반달가슴의 이전 자원과 그리고 새로 발견되는 반달가슴 이전 자원을 다 채취를 해서 거기서 이제 그 이전자 분석을 실시를 한 다음에 그 이전자 분석에서 나오는 이전자 트리를 가지고 이 개체가 우리나라 토종인지 아닌지 판별을 해서 우리나라 토종 개체만 지금 계속 번식을 유도를 하고 있습니다.
Recently, they received the good news that the Asiatic black bears that were returned to nature succeeded in giving birth. Excessive hunting and poaching have pushed Asiatic black bears to the brink of extinction. This is why Seoul Zoo and Jirisan National Park Species Restoration Center release 6 bears every year to expand the population of Asiatic black bears to at least 50.
사실 야생동물의 종보조는 상당히 어렵고도 험한 길입니다. 그리고 많은 인력이 필요하고 전문성이 필요하고 외국 동물원에서 있던 그런 성과들도 같이 공유돼서 이것이 또 하나의 새로운 성과로서 서울대공원에 나타나야 된다고 생각합니다.
So what we can do is to educate ourselves, our family, our students about the values of the wildlife. Why they are important, why we need to protect them. They're working in the ecology, they have their own job to do in the nature. We have to appreciate them as well.
Through through the government's support, international exchange, and species preservation research, Korean zoos spare no effort to return animals to their natural habitats and to protect the ecosystem. That's the genuine meaning of Noah's Ark of the 21st century.